Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to the return of the Swamp Talk show. We're getting it going here. Glad to see all y'all active out there in the chat. Y'all been talking a whole bunch. And without a further ado, let's get this started since y'all been waiting. And here we are. We'd like to introduce our welcome to the show. We got Constant Tinkerer, who was here last time for the recap. How's it going,
Howdy,
Matt?
y'all. Howdy. Doing good.
And then we got Kron. He's been on here a couple times as well. And then we got this new group of dudes in here. This is the Out of Battery crew. Let
on
the Swamp Pack give them a welcoming.
on loan from Chippendales.
What's good, Makers?
Shirts and skins.
Shirts and skins. We got the nice JSD Pittsburgh MakersMatch shirts.
What?
And another thing that we like to do on the show here when we get things kicking off is go ahead and give a shout out to some of the folks that's been here for a while. I've seen Angry Sarge out there. Give you a shout out. And Ron Wayne, always good to see you. We got quite a few people in here getting caught up on. MC, good to see you too, brother. Got Mike McClune out there. And Miss Wayne, good to see you too.
General Kenobi.
Yeah, and on that note, there's quite a few of y'all out there. If I missed any of you, y'all know that it ain't nothing personal. And to kick things off, why don't we start with some of y'all Out of Battery crew? I guess right below me, why don't we start with Bitplum? Let y'all introduce yourselves and stuff and talk a little bit about, who y'all are.
So I'm Bitplum. I'm on Out of Battery Live. I've been in GunCAD for about 3.5 years. I've been attending the Gunmakers match ever since the very first one. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Awesome. And then right beside him, I believe we got Schwarm.
Yes, sir. I am Mr. SwampTalk. You guys have probably seen me on Out of Battery Live as well. I have also been attending the Gunmakers match since year one. And after I won the first printed rifle, I figured I would let other people like, Matt and Mr. Snow have a shot at it. So I thought that was very kind of me. And I really can't wait to do some discussing. Thanks for having us on.
It's grace, man. It's all
So
about
humble,
the Makers
so
Match.
humble.
It's all about grace.
Stay humble, Kings.
We love it. We love it.
Awesome. And then I believe we got Middleton.
Hey, the Makers. Yep, I'm also a Out of Battery boy and handsomely shirtless like the rest of my guys. This is my first Makers match, so this was an experience for myself. Not my first gamer house, however. So it was a good experience. Met a lot of really cool people. Put faces to screen names, so it's a good time.
Ron Wayne out there saying Brady Bunch.
I've never seen the Brady Bunch. What does that mean, dude? I thought it was like a show about some family in like the 1960s or something. Are we the family?
Yeah, I guess that would make Swarm the nanny.
How true, though.
Excuse you?
Dude.
And sorry, I don't remember what your name is. Let you introduce yourself to everybody and me, I guess.
Dude, I'm Cape. I am proof that it is possible to be wider than Middleton while shirtless. And
hey, my arms are
hang out, dude.
Awesome. And since we skipped y'all, why don't we bring it back up to Craw and let you talk a little bit about some of the new stuff you've been doing since you've been on here last?
Geez, it's been a minute actually since I was on here last, but still just building stuff and running matches on the side. I help organize the Makers Match, so I don't compete in it, but I do compete in a lot of 3-gun competitions on a regular basis down here in Florida. So with only DIY guns up against.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome to hear that you've been doing it with strictly that, and it wasn't just like a new thing. Like you've been doing it for a little while now.
Pretty much since the last Makers Match, actually. Yeah, I picked that up in August after the last Makers Match, so it's been over a year now, year and a half, something like that.
Awesome. And then we'll bring it back over here to Matt here in just a second. Let you talk about the former champion. Might have been dethroned a little bit.
It was bound to happen.
Well, I guess you did like Schwarm. You just decided to give other people a chance since you've done wiped out first place and match champion last 2 times in a row.
Yeah. And I guess now that you can't do all 3, I guess I'm the only one that's gotten all 3 in the same Makers Match, and the only one that ever will. So
That's very true. With them
That-
dropping it down to 2, that will.
I was
no
going to say,
longer
and
be
he
a
will be
thing.
the only one ever
Yeah.
at this rate. Yeah.
So I'm retiring champion. Sorry.
yeah.
Well, like
Well,
I told him, it's the redemption arc. If you go in and you win the first 2, you're the shoe-in. Everyone knows you're going to win. So you got to lose 1. So that way when you win the 4th year, everyone's cheering you on again.
Although, to be fair, he did kind of handicap himself this year. You know, he was pretty renowned year 1 for his metal builds. And this year, I think you used all printed stuff. So that was a big shift.
Yeah.
And of course, he going with the sandbagging type strategy there. He had that big tumble so that everybody has to feel sorry for him so that he can just mow us down next year.
Yeah. I'm still a little bruised from that one. That hurt. That hurt. I got some gravel in places I didn't know I had there.
So,
But you as a champ, and kept it all safe, downrange, everything else. Didn't get DQ'd or nothing like that, and right back up to it.
Yeah. I can we cuss on here?
Let me see how. As long as we're over a minute, yeah, we're pulling up on 8 minutes. So I think it's
Wiener.
safe.
Okay, I'll play it safe for a little bit, but
But it's like I say
Yeah.
on my other things, I'm so small right now. I'm under the radar. I just get away with stuff anyway. So
I think the rule is no
I
cussing
can't be
for
demonetized if I'm not monetized first.
I think it's no cussing for the first 15.
I'll keep it clean, John. Yeah, I tripped, and I was like, in my head, man, I'm like, am I going down? I am not going down. Son of a, I'm going down. And so I was just like, just get that gun out. Don't let it hit the ground. Keep it downrange. Get the finger off the trigger as far as I can, and just tuck my shoulder in. And I'm like, I'm about to eat dirt, and just took it. And I tried to get back up and get back on the gun, get shooting again as quick as I could. But I think I still even ended that stage with like a respectable time. I think it was like 22, 23, something like that. Like, not bad for having, just busted your tail. But, that's baseball.
You still outperformed half the people that did that.
I was going to say, really the impressive part is keeping the weapon under control, because I've seen that with even I won't say professionals, but guys that do competitions on like a weekly basis. I've seen 2 of them get ejected from a match because they couldn't keep the weapon under control while falling, and one of them had an ND closer than 10 feet. We had to boot him. So.
Yeah,
That
that's
alone
another
is
thing
impressive.
too. Like you said, it's not quite uncommon to the point that there's reels of that on YouTube and stuff, to where
Yeah,
there's
and
enough for people to make compilations of it.
And it's terrifying for everyone involved. Anybody in the area is just like, you know,
Sorry, guys.
yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's not really an oopsies moment at that point. You know, people are looking at you like, yeah, you got to go home.
There you go. Did any of y'all? I know all y'all brought quite a few new designs and stuff like that. But was there anything there that y'all like stuck out to y'all that caught y'all's attention this year?
The Bruharia. Shout out to Frytech on that. I think that's eventually going to be some crazy stuff right there.
Yeah, and for folks that don't know, he's talking about Frytech has a design called the Bruharia that essentially uses electromagnets instead of recoil springs.
This is
But it's
where you
not just
key
a
in
design.
the
He
Jesse.
actually has a patent on that, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
And it's not just like a I don't know the word for the regular one, but it's the actual utilities patent. So it's the patent for the idea, not just the item.
I got one word, DARPA.
Yeah, I
No,
was
see,
actually
if DARPA
acronym,
wants
not a
something, it
word,
doesn't
but-
matter what. Yeah, if DARPA wants something, it doesn't matter what patents you have. They just take that shit.
yeah. That's like eminent domain on stuff. They're like it's
Pretty
the
much.
government. It's like who do you think said you can have the patent?
There's actually somebody else in GunCAD that's had that happen to them, but I won't call him out because I'm not sure he likes the attention. But that has actually happened to somebody we all know and love, where the government was like, "No, we need that. Sorry."
I was fixing to say I was wondering
Wow.
at what point that goes from a what if to oh yeah it's happened. So
Yeah, no,
apparently
it
we're already
actually
at
it
that
has
point.
happened. It has happened. Yeah, it can happen. It will happen.
Can you give us a little clue as to what it was? Was it like a gun or something bigger than a gun?
Honestly, it would
ray.
probably give it away if I said anything. So, and
Fair.
it's his secret to tell.
It was Cody
Fair.
Wilson, the
It was-
Liberator.
Let's
He
just
was
say
sent
it was
back in time to 1945.
Like Terminator style.
Yeah.
and since it is May the 4th, we'll just say it was blasters of some
Yes.
form.
Suckboy Tony's disappeared.
He got black bagged.
It's that giant mag backpack.
Now we know where
thing you
Sabir
do.
went.
He's back.
Sabir.
I've seen him. On Twitter.
Yeah, actually, I
he's
heard
been-
from that dude
I
in a
think he's
while.
been replaced by a government AI because nobody's actually seen him yet, but his accounts are back.
We'll see him
That's a
soon.
joke.
We're going to
That's a
see him
joke.
soon.
Mexican Jesus lives.
Dude, he comes
So
back
how
in
many
April.
people here did compete? I know y'all out of battery dudes was doing a lot of filming and stuff, and I know Kron was running it.
So basically just Matt.
Yeah, so just me and Matt then.
Yeah.
There's a staff match, but that was more of a shit show than anything. So
Only for you. Only for you, Middleton. Speak for
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, there you go. That's a new perspective for on the show and stuff. Y'all are more on the back end side of things. Do y'all have any insights or things that y'all learned this time over previous matches?
That we should also test our guns before. we put our
I
guns.
actually learned the difference between a 1911 and a Beretta.
Two Gulf Wars.
That was pretty fun.
That's one of my favorite moments, actually. I don't even know who
Yeah.
shouted that. Do we know who shouted that?
I don't know, but they're brilliant.
Yeah, I didn't catch who it was, but it was perfect timing.
It was perfect. Yeah, it's latched onto my brain forever now.
There you go. We got Mr. Snow out in the chat. Shout out to Snow, who was this year's grand champion.
I'm curious to see if he's going to be team shirt or team skin here when he comes on.
Half and half.
That's a call out right there.
Does he have
I
the
was gonna
balls
say
to
that
cut one in
would that
half?
would that would even the teams up there.
It may provoke the orca though.
For those out there in the chat, do any of y'all have any questions about the match or anything that might have been out there? It's been a while since y'all had a chance to say stuff, and y'all been pretty talkative tonight.
And while they're chatting, I just want to say thank you to all these guys for putting in the effort and the time to get all the great footage that they got. I've seen less professional teams. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, man.
And on that note, make sure y'all do go check out Out of Battery Live, or is it Out of Battery Live or just Out of Battery on YouTube?
Out of Battery Live.
Yeah, check them out. They got they did live streamed the safety meeting thing at the beginning, the People's Choice Award, where everybody voted on like what their best or favorite build was. That was pretty cool. That was like the best of the best, coolest stuff all right there in one spot. So for if you haven't seen any 3D printed stuff or anything like that, that's the perfect video to go check out over there on Out of Battery Live.
Yeah, the
There's-
Bren at home was pretty cool. Did you guys get to like mess with that at all? I didn't actually get to like shoot it, but it looked cool.
I'm pretty excited for that project.
Yeah, the Bren at home was neat. The Setney L was neat. That one that won People's Choice Awards, the Boba Fett 22,
Dude,
that thing was wicked. I would
So
love to build one
badass.
of those.
that
Yeah,
was
actually-
that was in a competition I did, that an MP22 competition that I took place in a little while back.
How did that
and
not win?
I know.
I
That's
know,
insane.
right? I was really excited when that one took People's Choice.
Yeah, he deserved it, man. Like,
Brass on. I mean,
Yeah.
like his work and the paint, everything is just amazing.
And I want to give a shout out to MC. He said, as a bystander, matches like this help inspire the next generation of innovation. Well done, pioneers.
My favorite moment was when the president of the club, the gun range, was trying to speak, and I shouted at everybody to pay attention, and then he told us what he thought of us. That was probably a pretty proud moment in GunCAD for myself. I thanked all of us, said that he'd never seen such a level of professionalism and safety. He personally invited every single one of us back to the range anytime. I mean, it was just a great moment. I don't think anybody caught it on camera because no one was expecting it. And
Yeah, it was just out of the blue. But
Yeah.
going to speak to what you was saying and what he pointed out about the professionalism and all of that stuff, the moment that you said pay attention, everybody stopped right there, you know. And I think Pincus was saying how at first he actually was one of the people that was kind of like not quite against
He was
DIY
skeptical.
stuff, but
Yeah,
was a little more skeptical, we'll
Yeah,
say.
I think he
And
was a little hesitant. Yeah, but
But I
it's
think,
understandable. I mean, you're trying to explain to somebody, hey, I want to have all these people come out. They've all built their own gun out of plastic, and we want to shoot at your place. Is that okay? And so, I mean, I can understand having a little skepticism.
and all up from all over the place too, not just like from Pennsylvania, his local people, so to speak.
Mhm.
no, it's true, and that was one of the things that was cool is like we have the diehards, like actually you two that show up every year, but then we had like a whole bunch of new people this year because of the location change. So that's always nice to see too. Is just the expansion as things jump around.
The amount of people that showed up to the match just to watch and went to Gamer House just to meet everyone was a lot more than I expected. Like, there's a lot of people who just showed up to meet everybody and see what it's all about. And a lot of those people are like, yeah, that's not as intimidating as I thought it was. So next year I'll probably try.
And that's one of the things I noticed too, is so a lot of people seem to be intimidated from the competition side. Maybe they've never competed or been to one or seen one, so they have no idea what to expect. So, oh, I just want to watch this year and I'll see. And then they, and next year fully going to compete.
Right.
And that was one of the which correct me if I'm wrong, Kron, but that was one of the main goals for the Makers Match in the first place, is getting that awareness out there to show people that it is, something that's kind of cool and whatever. It's not just, we're not just all like scary dudes hanging out in a dirty basement and stuff,
Right.
doing
I mean,
sketchy stuff.
especially before the first one, there was just a lot of bad information or just sort of like negative information regarding like home built firearms and DIY and 3D printing and all that stuff. So that was one of the goals, was to help change or at least shift the paradigm of people's thinking around, home built firearms. because a lot of people just think that they're like scary and only criminals have them and everything else. I'm like, please show up to one of these because come just meet the people that are actually doing this, and you will definitely not feel that way anymore. It's a good group of mostly nerds. Let's be honest. So we're not terrifying.
I doubt you could find a hobby and find so many good people in one hobby. You know what I
This
mean?
rich geriatric motherfucker.
Oh shit!
And then here we go, Mr. Snow.
I almost wore my PVS system, and I was like, no, that would be a little bit too much.
It's good to be the champion. It's good to be the king.
Hell yeah. I love this new rivalry.
I'm gonna bring you a Burger King crown tomorrow.
You can have it your way, bud.
As long
All
as
day.
it's second place.
As long as it's in second place.
But yeah, welcome to the show, Mr. Snow. Wasn't sure if you was going to be able to make it. Glad you was. Now I don't have to find your picture to share.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be stopping by for a little bit here. Yeah, and I have to claim it because it was amazing. I was the two Gulf Wars voice in the room. That was actually me.
That was you.
Hell
You got
yeah,
all the
dude.
awards and the funniest thing.
The quick
That was-
wit, the good looks, and the awards.
And the quick trigger.
He has everything.
And the very quick camera.
Very
Yeah,
true.
it was a lot of fun with the high-speed camera the day after. So the day after the actual Makers match, I'm all cut up in my costume here. We had a great time just showing off everybody's builds, and it's rare you get to go and shoot somebody else's stuff like that so freely.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the first real like quote unquote range day show and tell, other than just looking at the stuff.
It was the first official one, yeah, and I think that it's probably going to be. We're going to try and keep doing that because definitely enough people showed up to make it worthwhile. Not to mention, there's some great footage. Everybody was having fun. But yeah,
I know I definitely got more footage of the after than the during the match, which of course is hard to
Right.
get footage when you're actively competing.
It's
too.
extremely difficult. I have people ask me that sometimes when I upload footage from like my matches. They're like, "Oh, it's only GoPro." I'm like, "Dude, you don't understand. Like, it's not easy to try and get like, video. Maybe I'll have Snow follow me around one day."
You just have to hire Out of Battery Live to follow you around.
Yeah, we should do that. I'll come
exactly.
film
I don't-
for you.
I don't have a whole team of videographers, so but yeah, it is extremely difficult. So that day, show and tell day is just like a good time had by all, and you get to actually, get up close and personal. Because obviously, when you're competing and everything's on a timer, we don't want people handling firearms off the line and all that other good stuff. So it's a good time had by all, I think, for just show and tell, just to see what everybody else brought out and stuff that people didn't necessarily want to compete with.
Yeah, and that was what I thought was the cool part. That was being able, quite a few people brought quite a few things besides just one or two things with us. With the divisions being done to where you can only do two now, there was quite a few folks that brought more, expecting to compete with them anyways. And for the viewer people, for as far as the content goes, the shooting it and checking it out is the stuff that I think a lot of folks is more interested in, seeing the different designs that's out there and stuff. Because other than now, it's people like y'all and the folks that came to the Makers matches making it more normal to see printed guns at local ranges, but it's still not close to being the norm. To where a lot of
No.
folks, they're like, even me, the first match that I went to, with the first one that y'all did, was my first real taste of seeing anything that's out there. I was like, oh, 3D printed stuff, those is toys and this and that. Only people
Right.
doing that's like making Nerf guns and stuff like that. But then at the same time, once you start getting into it and stuff, that's basically what you're doing. You're making adult Nerf guns, but they actually shoot bullets, and stuff that hasn't come out before. And the even from the first match till now, like I think he was mentioning at the match, just the last couple months, the gun CAD and 3D printed stuff is in the firearms side of things is growing exponentially.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see, and that's one of the reasons I started competing in like the normie or like FUD matches, was to show that off, that they don't just explode and you can actually use them for things. And I'm trying to get my way up to a whole squad at this point. Like I think that's the dream. We bullied Orca into competing with DIY stuff. The first time he came out and joined me at a 3-gun competition, he used like regular metal builds, and I was very angry at him. Second time he started using all 3D printed stuff. So now we just need to get up to like a couple more people so we can have our own squad every time, to make it more and more common. But I will say this: I was out at my local range a couple weeks ago, just plinking and like sighting stuff in, and I finally saw somebody with Hoffman lowers that I had never met before shooting at the range, and they were like videoing it and stuff, and I was so excited. I was like, yes, people are doing it. Like it's finally happening, because I was at like a regular old public range, county run kind of thing, and I was super excited to see people I've never heard of before or seen before doing it. So that was fun.
It's definitely growing. Like even when I visit the ranges around me now, I'll see more of the like FUD type people with like the most standard things know at least what a P80 is when they see one, or anything else that's like main place DIY. So when they see something printed, they're like, oh, we're to that level now. So I think we're getting there. It's just taking some time.
Well, and that was
And
one of the
I also have seen a lot more people when they are seeing them things for the first time. It is more of that like awe type looking at it, instead of the like fear type, oh that's scary type stuff.
That's one of the surprising things to me, is that we've seen in the Makers Match in particular that the 3D printed number of competitors, there are more 3D printing competitors than there are kit builders. That's genuinely surprising to me, of how simple it is to put together the P80s and how remarkably reliable they are for home built stuff. But yet when we look at the competition, it's predominantly people that are challenging themselves to step up into that 3D printed divisions. And I'm probably maybe speaking a little bit out of turn here, but I think it's actually there's a degree. I mean, Matt, the constant tinker, you stepped into the first time to that 3D printed space coming from those kit divisions. How did you feel about that?
Well, the goal was to get a clean sweep in all 3D. Oh, here we go. Can you hear me now? Sorry. The goal was to get a clean sweep in all 3D printed categories, so I'd have like the complete collection, and then I could retire. So
sorry.
You're gonna have to bring me back one more year.
That's baseball, brother. You earned it. You put the work in. I saw you shooting. You put the work in. You earned it. And
it's kind of funny you say that, just to interrupt you for a second, because my very first year at Makers Match, I got a second place with pistol. Last year, I got first place with the printed pistol carbines. And so I made that progression up to where I had to knock you down this year. I couldn't let you get two. The most winning gun Makers Match person. Yeah, we had to take you down at least one peg, just one.
Yeah, it's setting me up for a good comeback story. So,
just like Kim Kardashian.
But yeah, I was surprised at just how big of a difference the amount of printed versus kit builds just from last year's Makers Match to this one.
Yeah, it really, this year was the first year I think we had more printed than kit builds across the board, and it is beautiful to see.
But yeah, and
I still will stick up for the machine stuff with the custom woodwork and stuff like that. I'll let the 3D printed stuff keep going, and I'll start dabbling in that. But I'm gonna have to rep the machine and DIY stuff, since everybody else is going printed stuff.
Well, we actually, so like the AR zeros, like if you started from raw stock, we're letting those folks compete inside of the 3D printed space because of the complexity of that. So those kits are really,
good to know.
Yeah, the kits are really about the 80%, if that still exists, whatever that's going to turn out to be in the next couple months, versus really a raw material versus a kit. That's kind of the delineation.
Snow asked me a few months before the match, and I was like, honestly, it's enough work that I think that qualifies. Like that, I'll make that argument. I'll take that one
because I was gonna run. Yeah.
Yeah, having done it now, it's not just push button and go. Like there's a lot of work to it.
The first AR0 that I did on a GG3 took me, I think, about 10 hours to complete.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, and I put it off for weeks because of that. I was like, nah, next weekend. And I finally did it, and yeah, it does take a long time because it's quite a learning curve.
But it's also, which I haven't done it yet. That's one of my next projects I'm fixing to do. But that's part of why I'm wanting to do it, is for that satisfaction of knowing it literally started from nothing, instead of the, like you said, the 80%, which is a forge, and which that's still a little work involved in that. I mean, you're still making it, of course, but you're literally a block of metal into a gun that you can build. That's a pretty big jump.
Well, and I hope we can keep. So I used actually an AR0 from aluminum block for the 22 side match. That's what I used for that one. And I hope we keep that, because I've still got a 1022 that I want to do on the GG3. That's never been done before. I finished the CAD work, the design. I just have to implement all the tool paths and cut code, which I'm not good at, but we'll get there.
According to Mr. Snow, this is a firearm.
Yes.
We're going to start that rumor.
Yeah.
And I think we'll probably keep the 22 side match. I think Rob felt vindicated that only half of the 22s worked, or were able to complete the stage. But all in all, I think people had fun with it. So we'll probably have to keep that around. I'm hoping more people compete in the fully DIY one next time, more than we did this time.
I was going to say, that's my plans next time, is to do the full DIY, especially knowing that the 0 counts as into the part of that category as well.
That shouldn't be. I think that one shouldn't be in there.
It's no different than printing out a lower.
We know that we can use 37 millimeter as one of the fully DIY things now, so it's over for you hoes. I don't
that needs to be more public. No, it's true. Somebody asked about that towards the end of the match. They were like, "Hey, could that be like a launcher?" And we're like, "Well, we let J-Rod compete with a 12 gauge break action, so yeah, I guess so."
I just want to point out we have the most cutest, handsomest watcher.
We're gonna see Danny out there dual wielding, semi or fully automatic 26s,
New York style reloading,
as God intended.
I don't know if you guys follow Danny on Instagram, but he released a teaser on his new bolt today for that, and it's amazing.
It was pretty. I told him it was nifty, because that's all. I just heard my grandpa's voice in the back of my head when I saw it, just with him like hitting it with the pole and everything. I was like, yeah.
I'm excited about what Danny's got cooking.
He really blew my mind last year's Makers Match with that 3D printed drum mag using the lawnmower pull start spring. That is the kind of ingenuity stuff that I think of when I think of GunCAD and stuff like that. Is people make like I know a lot of y'all, and Snow and Cron specifically, y'all have done stuff pretty much from the ground up like that, where you've done, I know Snow specifically, he's got quite a few projects of basically homemade stun devices and accessories in many different forms.
I'm here for the memes, brother. Here for the memes.
Swarm, you got like a little bit of a serial killer vibe going with the underlighting and everything. It's kind of,
his lighting is on point.
It's making him look like he's got a resting scowl too.
Yeah,
and the fingertips together did not help. That made the evil doctor look very much.
Yeah, he's got this serious.
If you want the evil doctor look, hang on.
Very majestic.
We got your biopsy results back.
I don't know, for some reason that makes me think like Mormon or something like that. Creepy Mormon.
I see a Nord Viking sitting by a campfire with he just needs a glass of mead, and he's going to be right there, man. Nice horn of mead.
A glass of mead.
Speaking of, hold on, just
sharpening your axe, drinking a nice hot glass, the tears of your enemies. Yes.
It's your fault, Snow.
That's fair. So
Dude,
Swamp's
is
off to go
Swamp
get something
Dog
fun.
joining Team Skins?
Let's go.
My guess is
pretty
he's
funny.
coming back with his war hatchet that he's going to use to shave off his chest hair before he converts over to Team
Here's a
Skin.
war hat? Where's my-
Everybody's going to start grabbing their melee weapons now and show that off. So tell us about the melee competition next year at the Makers Match.
You know, somebody has already requested that. Not that we're going to name him, Parker.
Oh my
But
gosh.
he wants like bayonet targets.
Damn it,
And I
Johnny.
told him that's not happening. We're not doing bayonet targets. I'm sorry. That's just a bridge too far.
A fixed
That would kinda
bayonets. I
rock.
like that.
Dude, I've had some of that.
Oh, you could use a
Chaucer,
rock.
dude. It's good, dude. That shit
Nice.
rocks.
There you
A
go.
mead and a horn. There you go.
Well done.
And that is an
Nice.
actual Texas Longhorn made into a drinking horn. This thing will fit that whole bottle and then some.
Let's go.
Nice.
That's how you party.
And it's funny because I got
Like
that at the
party.
Renaissance Fair, and part of the deal with buying any mug or horn is you get free refills at the quote-unquote tavern. But I got it on a school field trip, so all I could do was get soda in it.
Diabetes. It's a lot of soda. That's like a big gulp right there.
It's a fucking 2-liter.
Make PLA not corn syrup.
There you go.
So I'm trying to think of some other interesting things from the match that I saw. I
I
think
know
there was
that
some.
earlier Kron was mentioning that set me build and stuff. I actually had him in my squad. And so every time people was talking about feeling the concussion off of that 308, it ain't no joke. And he was also the only person to hit the bonus target, the little bitty I think they're what are they called, Firebird.
It's a Firebird
Yeah.
target, and that was the
They
50.
are signal devices. Yes.
Yeah, very cool stuff. But some of the stages in themselves, I got to give a shout out to the stage designers. You know, there was one stage that I really enjoyed for the pistol shooters where they had to actually load their own magazines before they could actually shoot the stage. There was some creative stuff that was done with those stages that were good.
Yeah, and I would love to claim credit, but Rob did most of that entirely on his own.
Well, we
I
better-
gave him a few helpful insights that he went, no, we're
Yeah.
not doing that.
Well, let's try not to give Rob credit. We need to move on.
Yeah,
then,
we
if
can't
that's
do that.
case.
The internet will
That's-
get all sorts
He
of
had pictures of the maps. We all put it together.
Yeah, it's true.
But that is one thing.
So Rob's pro
I think
union.
It was last year at the final third stage where you had to go through the barricade from a standoff distance and stuff like that. More things that's a little bit more active. And this year we had quite a few more of that where you would having to use different positions or changing positions and stuff like that. And a lot of I think only one stage didn't have a no-shoot target of some kind.
Yeah, and I think that was the rifle range.
Well, there was some no shoots that there were some hostage situations, if you recall.
There is no hostage situation if
There's
the
actually-
That
hostage
is-
hit.
Yeah, I was going to say,
One of my favorite ones
I
was a
recall quite a
hostage
few
one.
dead hostages.
One of my favorite ones actually was a hostage one where if you shoot the first two targets just in the center of the area, which you're more inclined to do, you're going to shoot through it and hit a hostage. You have to know your target and what's behind it. And I would say
Yeah, who would do that?
probably 10 minutes I was there, 9 out of 10 people shot a hostage. Like,
Yeah,
It's almost like it was designed that way.
right?
weird.
It was almost
It's
like,
weird.
Yeah. And what's worse is I knew the design.
I think
and
I
still
have
shot
my
the
video
hostage.
of me doing that stage, if this is the one you was talking about.
Yep, that's it.
the one.
So if you start on the left-hand side of that board, what you'll do is you'll actually shoot through those first two targets and hit those white no-shoot targets there in the back. So for those of you that don't do competition shooting, the goal is essentially you have to put 2 rounds in each one of those cardboard brownish color ones and don't hit the white ones. Those are no
Shoot the browns, don't shoot the whites.
Oh my!
And that was one thing that I made sure I asked her at the start of this round here, which was something that after watching, I've seen a lot of other people messing up. I actually purposefully stood or took a little bit further to the left when I was kneeling and stuff to get that angle on them to not hit the stuff behind them, because they didn't say you had to be on the corner. You just had to be kneeling behind the bar.
Oh yeah, and the deeper you get into competitions, the more gamery you get with it. Like I've seen guys, I've actually seen guys take shots in the air because they were technically not touching outside the bounds yet, and everybody went. But he kept it safe. The gun was pointed in the right direction, hit the target, didn't touch the ground. Like, yeah, okay, you did it, but let's not jump around and shoot.
My understanding, you can still bend bullets in competition, but only in competition does it actually work.
Yes, that is also true.
Also,
it's all
I'm
in the
gonna
wrist.
have to
Angelina
borrow.
That's
Jolie
in the
next to you.
wrist. Flick of the wrist.
I'm gonna have to borrow a saying from a YouTuber that I like, the Fat Electrician. It's not a war crime the first time.
That dude's funny as hell.
So
But
we'll have
yeah,
to work
I
on
definitely
bending
thought that.
22s next year.
I think we could focus on just making the 22s work next year. That might be a good half measure.
22s are like not.
Veto.
22s are probably some of the more difficult builds to do.
Well,
I do have a question on the 22 front, which I'm sure
reliably.
y'all might or might not have an answer for. Has anyone tinkered with design using the AM 180 magazines?
Was that a pun intended or?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Since the tinkerer was absent.
Just getting a beverage. I still hear you.
I don't think I've seen any yet. Has anybody
don't-
seen anything? Like
What do
that?
those things even cost?
They're expansive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
have no idea.
So I'm trying to find one for sale on Google right now, and I can't even find one. For those that don't know, the AM 180 drum mags are like a 22 machine gun, and the mag actually sits on the top like a pizza dish on the firearm. But I've never actually even seen one for sale. I bet you
I
they're
only
Danny
see 'em at
Meatballs.
like the ancient or the auction type places.
Oh yeah, they're $162 each.
Yeah, I knew they were expensive, but damn.
It sure did.
So I don't think I'll be deving for that anytime soon.
If anybody
Fair
was
point.
going to, though, it would have been you. So I guess that means we're out.
I am exclusively going to develop for the Calico Helix mags.
Perfect.
Good luck.
I know several people are attempting that particular unicorn, so
I would be very interested in that. That's one thing. I actually found out about a gun that I never knew about from a video game, and I kind of pride myself on being aware of obscure and niche type guns, but I'd never heard of the Russian mini-bok until I played Call of Duty. And that's using a helical mag like that, but it's under the barrel, whereas the P90 has the mag on top.
yeah. So
And the Calico on top, too.
there are a few people attempting it, but
There
at
you
this
go.
point, I think it has to be done via SLA to really be usable.
So Calico did a really terrible job of putting the rear sight on this part here that's very movable. So accuracy is not a concern.
Questionable.
Yeah, it's really not the best. And the most challenging thing is the tension of the spring. Where is it? There we go. If you don't have good tension on the spring, you're just going to get lots of fails to feed. However, it does have a little, let me pop it out on this guy, a little winder, so you can just wind it.
Yeah, so that
when
looks
you're done.
super easy to develop on our own. I don't see a problem at
Right.
all.
But you also need this button in the middle. So the button in the
And then
middle
in and out.
will release the tension where you press
Do
that
that in
and it goes.
Tinkercad.
Yeah, I don't see. This is obviously the future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why
It
we don't
only-
have 10 of these.
I've only ever
That
gotten
is one
through
thing.
10, 15 rounds without a jam, and then it's almost always jams. You have to rewind it because there's a new tension for how many rounds are in there. And
We should design that for the Zip 22.
Okay, Get a little electric winder
There you
on
go.
there.
Well, we can't do that. Then it's a machine gun.
Just to wind the spring tension.
You know what
Liberty
you do.
Layer in chat says that his 22 ran well.
I
Have we tried
picked it up and
Magnet?
run it after everybody did their, official 22 scores. I picked it up and ran it, and it ran well.
I would have loved to have redone mine. If I had had the red dot on when I actually picked it up, would have been great. But also having Rob literally on top of me was
Yeah, that
interesting.
was pretty good.
Yeah, that was
I'd
the
w-
whole staff match though, too.
No,
So
that was the 20. Yeah, the 20. Well, the 22 match. He was
I have no
literally.
pity for you.
He was in your pocket for the whole stage.
Yeah, at one point I was swinging to the secondary target and I had to slow down because I thought I was going to shoot his hand. I mean, he was up in it. But I welcome that, so it was okay.
The one thing I was actually really disappointed with is in the staff match, I was the only one that was humping the barricades. No one else had any pelvic action, no thrusts, no touching.
I think I went for the leg.
I
just
gotta
don't get
say,
it.
as much as I enjoyed the competition as a whole, the staff competition side of it was way more fun. The amount of grief talking was just fantastic. So the the staff competition, like it was just the people that ran the competition after everybody else had left. All the staff gathered and they went and did 2 stages together, and it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, that was. I definitely don't shoot the hostages.
Pretty sure I was the only one who didn't shoot the hostages that one.
I think you're right.
I didn't shoot hostages on any of the match stages.
You really need the audio though for Rob's commentary, but
It was more fun when he was berating us the entire time and like also slightly belittling, but also encouraging us. It was like that abusive older brother who kind of loves you.
Yeah.
And you hear it here, next time that we have a staff match like this, if I'm involved, I'm exclusively going for hostages. I'm going to put every round into the hostage on at least one stage.
But here you see Rob just like super giddy that I shot through the targets. Or it's going to freeze. And
yeah, it's freezing up.
But,
There's giddy.
Yeah. He got really excited about that. But
sacred object or ancient weapon. Where is the Ark of the Covenant?
That's in Zip's garage.
There you go. So yeah, there was, like I said, there was quite a few hostages that got some injuries during the various stages.
They weren't hostages; they were just dressed as hostages.
There you go. There was also another stage on the rifle one. I know a lot of y'all did the pistols ones. It was on that same stage that we just showed where you had to like do your angles and stuff, but the pistol shooters, the final end of the shot they had to do was on some steel targets. And for the rifle one, in the opposite corner, there was 2 hostage targets side by side that you had to shoot between the hostages to shoot the target behind them.
There was some clever stuff. So for those of you, here was my my 22 run that I did with Rob. I don't think we'll have audio for this one either. And we can see that Rob was giving me a friendly RSO hug here. Turn on the optic, not shoot Rob's hand off.
I think that's the first time the RSO got a procedural.
I think one of my favorite moments though had to be the night before when Rob came to the realization of what he wanted to do for the 22 side match, and everybody kept asking him. He's like, no. There are competitors here. It's going to be a surprise. And the surprise was you had to drive down the steel with a 22, which, if nobody's tried to shoot falling steel with a 22, you have to hit it pretty dead center with usually more than one round. How many did it take, Snow? Half your mag?
Let me see here. I can count it out here because I can listen to it. It's on mine. I can actually hear the hits. There's 5 shots on the steel.
Yeah, that's that's some pretty solid consistency there to put that kind of momentum into it.
I do want to commend Rob for having the restraint not to put that other hand on your ass, because I wouldn't have had that restraint.
Well, I guess we know who will be RSOing the staff match next year, Middleton. I thank you for volunteering.
You know I'm more of a pelvic guy, so
I want Middleton to score the staff match next year.
Dude.
The cardboard was perfect. I don't know why you're complaining.
Have you guys even heard of practice score? I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing.
We tried that. So you remember year 1. We tried that with the tablets and
Yes.
everything. The batteries were dying. It was raining. It was just a horrible experience. So Rob's like, we're
It's
never
actually
doing
the
it.
only reason Mr. Snow took second place at Pistol and I didn't get first was because of practice score.
So funny story. I actually got second place in the first year in the kit build pistol, even though I was shooting a 3D printed pistol.
Well,
Didn't
I can't
even
help it that
compete
you all
in
don't
that
know how to use a
division.
registration link. I mean, come on.
There was some practice score issues.
Look, quick interruption there, Kron. Is that what I was commenting on the picture earlier? Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
when you
going
went
to
off
put
to
you
get
full
your
screen.
horn, we thought you were going for a melee weapon, so I got my melee weapon.
Solid choice.
It's got some weight to it. I mean, you could do some damage with this thing.
We should smash some melons in high speed with that.
If you bring that to the next
That would be
match as your
hilarious.
melee weapon, I'll bring my Sten mag as my.
I'd love to see all you keyboard warriors swing a hammer.
I'm
Says a plumber.
Dude, you'd be surprised.
I'd
how
like
many
to see
people
your
don't
fuck
know how to swing a
pipe
hammer.
cutter. Show me your pipe cutter skills.
I use Sawzall to plumb everything.
Oh my god.
If they
Shark-
did
this
add
is Shark
a
Bite
melee
family, bro.
type match, everybody would start bringing the Lucille baseball bat type thing.
I'm just going to put Gata prods on everything next year.
All the way around.
See, I that's what I envision from you. I envision like an what is it? I forget what it's called, but the Aztec one. But instead of the obsidian blades all the way up, it's just rows of cattle prods up both sides.
Yeah, actually, that
That'd
was actually one of the legitimate reasons I built that device first, was because I wanted to make that from the newer Star Wars movies, the Stormtrooper that had the spinny stick.
Yes.
I was totally going to 3D print and design one of those with those taser things.
Which is an excellent choice, and I don't know why that hasn't happened yet.
Well, I've got all like the designs and the kit to do. I've got it done. I just have to put it together.
Oh, I've got
I
like 10 of those projects.
I remember when I
He said
first saw that
pew-pew
from you,
stuff
Snow.
took precedence.
When I first saw that from you, that reminded me of a project I did in high school where I'd go to all the local Walgreens and CVS and I'd ask for all their disposable cameras that have already been developed and used for a science project, and then you just take all the capacitors out and solder them all together. So you let one camera charge for 10 minutes or so, and then you'll discharge like 5 capacitors into one person. Yeah, those are some fun times.
It's amazing what you can do on Amazon.
Just
Like-
get like 50 to 70 smoke detectors.
Amazon
and you can
is
really do some crazy
the
stuff.
new generation's Radio Shack.
Like I made this little oven that opens, and there's a wireless key fob, and you can
Is that
press
a
this
bomb?
button, and
What's a
ow,
bomb?
I just shocked myself. Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's an IED. You can kind of see it. Those wires are too far apart. That's actually amazing that those are arcing from that far. That's
Just
a
make
long
sure
way.
your gas stove is left off when you leave that in the house.
Yeah, and you just yeah. So hit this little button right here,
Woo.
and it gets pretty exciting. I actually just shocked myself a minute ago, and it kind of hurt.
So,
good
Snow,
times.
what we should do one day is we'll just record going through Skycraft and
Mhm.
finding things to build random shit with. For
I
those
haven't
of you that aren't local, there's a Skycraft store. It's called Skycraft. It actually has a flying saucer on the roof, but inside is this magical world of every component you could ever think of.
It's a surplus store on steroids, and they actually moved. I haven't been to their new location. They don't have. I don't. They moved.
I don't think
That
I've been to
sounds
the new
like
location.
a place worthy of a trip to.
Yeah, I haven't been to the new location. They're not like right off of I-4 downtown Orlando anymore. That area. They moved.
What the hell?
I know. I'm sorry to break your dreams, but they moved.
That actually hurts a little bit. That's like when Radio Shack closed.
I understand. I had the same feeling, bro.
If the Makers Match returns to Florida again, I think that might have to be a side trip.
Well, that was about
For
2 hours
sure.
away from the usual range, but
Yeah.
What's
Oh, yeah,
2
look at
hours
that.
in a
It
car
moved.
with friends?
I don't like that location at all. It's like it's not. There's no flying saucer.
So we'll have to circle back to that one when there's not other people that care about our problems.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Sorry.
There you go. Well, we're pulling up on an hour here. I'd like to thank y'all for coming on, and again, give a big thanks out to the folks in the chat for sticking with us and for talking amongst yourselves, being eager for the show to get started. It's good to see with the absence that I took that y'all are still supportive of the channel, and I'd like to give everybody a chance, go around the room, let y'all say something that y'all want to promote, or where, let folks know how to look y'all up and stuff. And I guess we'll just start out with the clockwise, starting with Tinkerer.
Yeah, you can find me at the Constant Tinkerer on Instagram. Mostly just builds, shooting, occasionally some other side projects, food stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my only online presence at the moment. And I am on the Odyssey, but I don't have anything posted yet. Hopefully this year I'll be able to get some designs up there and share with the community.
Awesome. And then next we'll go to Kron with that badass hammer.
Yeah, no, I'm Kron on everything: YouTube, IG, Twitter. Yeah, everything. Xbox Live. Feel free to follow me if you want to watch me do okay at some multi-gun matches with DIY firearms, and or any alphas and betas that I'm participating in, which is always fun.
Awesome. And then we'll go back to Snow.
So I can be found all over the place if you just Google Mr. Snow Makes, or you can use my alt account, the Orca Trainer, at SeaWorld.com. And you can learn all about how I train the orcas to do slow things. We really slow them down and chase after trophies. We just put these trophies on these giant poles, and the orcas will chase.
Kind of like a pedestal.
Oh,
well, we keep them knocked off the pedestals. We put them just off to where they can't quite reach them.
What's it called whenever their dorsal fin falls over and just doesn't stand back up again?
Second place.
God dang! Woo!
Golden. Gotta
Why
count
so
on Mr.
hard?
Snow for the comedy.
Woo, buddy!
Excuse me. And then back to Swarm now.
Absolutely. Well, you can find me on social media, but don't. Social media is a cancer and it will ruin your life. I am working on something that a lot of you are going to find really exciting. You've probably seen pictures and videos from last year's event. And Mr. Kron was saying that the show and shoot and tell portion of the GMM was the first time that's ever happened. It's not. It was actually the Midwest meetup that we first really got a bunch of people together and did some shooting. We're going to be doing that again this year. If you want to come out and hang out with 50 to 100 of your closest friends, go do some launcher golf, have a night vision nature walk, do some exciting stuff. Somewhere in the Midwest, just keep the September 1st through 3rd dates open, and we'll give you some more information on Out of Battery Live.
Awesome. That sounds like something I'll be looking forward to.
Sounds cool.
And then Middleton Made.
What's good, makers? Formerly Utreon, now Player. I just signed up there, so that way when YouTube shuts my shit down again, I'll have a backup. Also on Rumble and Odyssey. Mac and Cheese V2 is almost done in beta. If you can't hear it in the background, it's starting probably the last revision. We'll see. The Montego receiver is almost done, and launchers. We're selling those on the website because
Launchers are the way.
JP. JP Guncad. He's trying to be humble and say it's my thing, but he did the majority of the work on this. We have M72 disposable launchers that he made a printable insert for, so you can use 37 millimeter projectiles to launch fireworks. So it's literally a shoulder-fired backblast, backblast, backblast. Press it, a primer is ignited, which ignites the rocket, sends it out. It's stupid fun. The insert is going out full launch, but we need to do a beta on the projectiles still. So those are the three really cool things. And this Saturday on Out of Battery Live is going to be pretty fucking cool. So make sure you guys are coming by on that one.
I feel like we can
Awesome.
talk about that now, right, Bitplum, or no?
I think so.
All right.
So
Fuck yeah.
And we're going to bring it over to Kate.
Dude, okay, so now that it's my turn. All right, wait. Balaclava on, okay?
Face reveal.
This fucking
Shirt off.
Saturday, boys. We're the first Vice documentary, the guy who was on it, who actually made the Vice documentary, Keegan Hamilton, tables have been turned, how the turntables, and he is going to be our guest. So come check that out. I think he's secretly very based and wants to print guns. So we'll see if we win him over. No social media to speak of. Just come watch our episode of Out of Battery Live where we talk with Keegan Hamilton.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah.
And last but not least, we got Plum, Bit Plum.
I'm Bit Thumbs. They're still here.
I can't wait for that shirt, man.
No, I'm on Matrix, and I'm on Out of Battery Live. I'm just a resident cheerleader.
But yeah, y'all make sure y'all tune in to the Out of Battery Live. They stream every Saturday night, and it's a hoot every time I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm secretly hoping Keegan gets picked up by one of those major news networks now. We all
Fox
get to
is looking for an anchor, right?
right. Yeah, that'd work.
Yeah, they got rid of Tucker Carlson, so they got an open slot.
And
There's
speaking
always-
of media for GMM, so we literally have like over 100 gig to sort through and process. So we've gotten some stuff out there now, but in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a ton more coming out. So if you want to see a lot of the personalities and a lot of the people that you've seen their screen names actually shooting, Out of Battery is probably the one that's going to be posting everything, but it'll have the tags for everyone else. So if you subscribe to any hashtags, I don't know if that's a thing still, or just follow Out of Battery, you'll get all the updates and you'll see all your favorite people shooting, failing, and succeeding.
And the MakersMatch page will be reposting any and all footage that they post. So feel free to follow there as well.
Baller.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yep, and my little bit of footage from the Match is going to be released next week as well. Keep out for something special this weekend.
Hell yeah.
And on that
Sweet.
note, big thank you to the guests and a big thank you to the chat. And y'all be good, and we'll catch you next time.
Holla holla. K-Stop signal.
Are we still live?
My nipples are hard.